Hello, welcome to a new video. My name is Priti and today I'm going to take you through the biggest book haul ever. So essentially this video is long overdue because I went to Bangalore in April or May. I would like to say April or May, I don't know. But I went for a friend's wedding and then after that I had basically half a day free of sorts, and I decided to go to bookstores during that half a day that I had free because what else am I supposed to do? Bangalore is known for these amazing bookstores that are basically on the same road, essentially on the same area, and the best part about a lot of these bookstores that I visited three, is that they have second-hand books and they have a great collection. So in this video what I'm gonna do is that I have some clips that I filmed while I was at the bookstores. So I'm going to take you through those clips so that you get a feel of being at the bookstore. So it's like a come book shopping with me sort of thingy. And then after that I will talk to you about the books that I bought from that bookstore. So it's a come shopping with me plus a book haul in Bangalore, which is very, very exciting. And I am filming in my living room right now because ever since I got these books, they have been just lying here in the living room on this table here. So it is time for me to also clean up. So let's begin. The first bookstore that I went to was Champaca bookstore. This is an indie bookstore which is absolutely amazing. They have such a great collection and just generally they are such amazing people. As soon as I reached there though, there was an event going on, so I couldn't quite film too much. But yeah, you can see what it looks like and you can also get snippets of this event thingy. It was about teachers. I don't know. Wasn't Champaka just so lovely? So because of the event I couldn't spend too much time there and I could interact with the people there, but I did end up buying two books from them. The first one being this one, which is A Bright Ray of Darkness by Ethan Hawke. This is a book that I heard of on Jack Edwards' channel. I'm sure everyone knows him. He is a booktuber that has 1 million followers. But anyway, he talked about this book where he said that he really enjoyed it. It's basically about this guy who is an actor who has just gone through a divorce because of someone cheating on someone. I'm not too sure. And he's also an actor in a Broadway play now, so it's about fame but also marriage and the disintegration of marriage. I'm not too sure, but I heard that it is really, really good and I was really intrigued by it, so I wanted to read it. The second one was purely I looked at it in their translation shelf and I was like, what? I just thought that the title sounded really interesting, and that is Vampires in Love and Other Stories. And this is a book translated from Spanish by Margaret Jewel Costa, and the author is Enrique Vila-Matas, and he's apparently Spain's most significant contemporary literary figure. And it just sounded really interesting. I read a couple of like pages while I was there, and I just really liked the writing and I was intrigued by it. So I bought it, and I will hopefully read this one soon enough. Now, however, we move on to the next bookstore that I visited. So essentially, I from there went to Church Street, which is this street that is like a pedestrian only sort of street. Mostly there were some cars anyway, but it's this really lively place with a lot of like restaurants and stuff, but it also has a lot of bookstores. So I first went to Bookworm, which is a bookstore that I hadn't visited before, but a lot of my Bookstagram friends or like bookish friends really love that place, the people who are from Bangalore, and they always talk about it way more than like a Blossoms, which is the other bookstore that I went to, which I will talk to you about. But yeah, I went in and I really liked it. I thought that their collection was awesome. They also have like a 20% off on all of the new books that they have, so that's amazing, like a 20% flat sort of discount. But also they have a great secondhand section, which was just amazing. Like if I lived in Bangalore, I would be there all the time. So I was just really taken by the sort of books that they had there, and just like the collection in general. Like they even had, oh my god, okay, just go see it for yourself. Bookstore. It was so nice and so many amazing books. I wanted to buy them all, but I didn't, so I exclusively shopped at the second-hand book section, and I was just so excited because I found this book, which is actually a proof copy. I just read this now and it says do not sell, but I bought it, and this is what's it called? It's called The Therapist, and I heard of this from Jen Campbell's YouTube page, and it's basically about like this epidemic that's sweeping across the world where people are becoming invisible, and this husband and wife are talking to their therapist about it. And I've heard that it is not so much about the epidemic that's spreading through the world, but more about like how we view each other and stuff like that, and I just think that it's short and awesome, and I got it for 150 bucks. Online it's like 1,000 plus, so I was just really excited to like see this one and buy it because I've been meaning to read it ever since I saw that review, and like amazing. Another book that I've been meaning to read for a long time but just haven't got myself to, is this one, which is called The Great Believers by Rebecca Makkai. And this is like set in Chicago and Paris, and I know that it's like an HIV sort of story, like something to do with the HIV crisis that happened in the US, and it follows like these gay protagonists and like this photographer or something like that, and something to do with artists and all of that. But I've just heard really good things about this one, and I've heard that like it's very well written, so I'm excited to read this and see what I think about it. But yeah. Alright, the next two books are basically from the same author, and that is The Dutch House by Ann Patchett, as well as Bel Canto by Ann Patchett. Now, I think this one won some major award. It says Pen Faulkner Award, but I think it won more than that. I'm not too sure. But this one is known to be like one of her best works, and I think it's what like catapulted her into fame. It is set in South America, in the home of the country's vice president, and something is happening. I don't really want to know too much about this book. I am one of those people who like to not know too much before I get into it, because I'm afraid that the back is going to spoil me. So I just rather go with it. So I'm going to list down all the books for you in the description for you to like see what's up and all of that. But the next one is this one called The Dutch House by Ann Patchett. Again, don't know much about it. I just know that the audiobook is narrated by Tom Hanks, and I was like, yes. But also like I think in 2018, which is when this came out, I think, a lot of people were really talking this one up. So yeah, I hope to read both of them, and I got them for an amazing discount. Can you just see how beautiful this book is? Like, just, and how in such good condition. It's ridiculous. But I got this one because I've been again meaning to read Claire Fuller. Claire Fuller was shortlisted for the Booker Prize. No, not the Booker Prize, the Women's Prize last year. And I've been meaning to read her books for a while now. She follows me on Instagram. So I've had her book. Oh my god, it's so shiny. I've had plans to read her books for a while now, but I haven't. But what I like about her books is that she always has like an older protagonist, which I think is like refreshing, because I don't want to read from young people anymore. But yeah, again, don't quite know what this book is about, but I think it's something to do with like a wife who dies, and then like the daughter comes to like see what happened or something like that, and something by the sea, and it's just, I don't know. I will find out soon enough. Okay, the next book is a book that I've been meaning to read for a really long time, and it's a chunky one, and it is this. It is The Female Persuation by Meg Wolitzer. This is basically about feminism and something to do with college and like female power and something like that. I'm not too sure. Again, as you can see, I'm an amazing person in terms of describing books. But yeah, I've heard really good things about Meg Wolitzer. I think that she is a fantastic author, though I have not read her, but I have heard. So I plan to read and be sure by myself. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay. Anyway, next one is also a book. I have no idea what it's about. But again, this was a book that was like super famous in like 2019, 2018 Bookstagram era. And that is The Parisian by Isabella, Hammad. And this is, I don't know what it's about again. I don't know what it's about. Okay, so it says, as the First World War shatters families, destroys friendships, and kills lover, a young Palestinian dreamer sets out to find himself. Ooh, okay, so that is really interesting. It is a chunky one. I've heard some really good things again from my friends on Bookstagram. By the way, you should follow me on Bookstagram. I'm a cool person there as well. So yeah, this is another book that I picked up, and I hope to get to soon. Oh my god, so cute. Do you see this little postage stamp thingy? It's so nice. Okay. Okay, next is a book that I actually know what it's about, and that is Kololo Hill, Kololo Hill, I think, by Neema Shah. Yeah, I might know what it's about, but I don't know how to pronounce it. But this is basically following these people who, like these Asians, essentially was following like this Indian Asian family that grew up in Uganda, but in 1972 there was this decree that all Ugandan Asians must leave the country in 90 days. So they must only take what they can, give up their money, and never return. So this is a real thing that happened, and I think Neema Shah is from Uganda, like her parents were, or something like that. So she writes of this experience, and then they're moving to the UK, I think. And I just think that like that sounds really fascinating. This came out last year, and last year I was like, oh, I really need to get this book, and then life happened, and so many books were read, but this was not. But I'm hoping that I will read this one this time. The next two books are essentially cover buys, but also I know of the authors, so I was like, you know what, I think it'll be fine. And then I went on Goodreads and like the ratings were good, so I was like, sure. But like the covers are just so pretty, and this one is The Believers by Zoë Heller. I'm just gonna zoom in for you to see what a beauty. But yeah, so this one is by the author who wrote The Scandal. What is that thing? Anatomy of a Scandal? No. Notes on a Scandal. Notes on a Scandal. And I have heard good things about this. It says, a comic, tragic, supremely entertaining novel about one's family struggle with the consolations of faith and the trials of doubt. So I don't know. I don't really usually like reading about religion, but I do think that it's a fascinating topic. So yeah, but also it was like a cover buy, and it was for 250 rupees. So I was like, sure, I will read it. The next is, I felt like I was like, I have this rule, okay, where I was like, if I have a book by the author and I haven't read that author yet, then I will not buy a book by that author until I read it, because like the other book. But I decided to let go of it on this book because it was just too pretty and I couldn't help myself. And this is the Hakawati, I would like to say, by Rabih Alameddine. And this is, so a book of his that I really have been wanting to read is An Unnecessary Woman, which I shit you not, I think I've been wanting to read since like 2016 or 2018, I don't know. I met him at like a JLF and I got my book signed by him, and I was just like, oh, but I don't know, this is a book that I've been meaning to read that is a book that I've been meaning to read for a while, but this one just sounded too interesting to not read, and also it was too pretty. It basically follows like these people in Lebanon and then in Egypt, and I don't quite know too much more, but yeah, I've heard that he's an amazing author, so I cannot wait to read it. So that was it for the Bookworm books. Next I went to Blossoms, which is an amazing bookstore that has, as I said, as with Bookworm, has like a new books section as well as a section which has like a lot of secondhand books, and they actually have like two stores on like the same street, like one on one part of the street and the other on the other part of the street. I haven't been to the other one, but I've been to the one like the beginning of Church Street. Anyway, I went to this one, and honestly Blossoms is amazing because they have such an amazing collection, but it is so overwhelming sometimes because there's just so many books piled up that you're just like, what am I supposed to do? I genuinely feel like you can spend hours in this place. So why don't you go check out my thoughts and like clips while I was at Blossom, and then come right back and I'll tell you what I bought.
Into the place, a spot you from a ways. My heart, it started racing. The crowd across the way, the flowers on your face, and then I'm from the 80s. Someone keeps blocking my way. I can't feel far farther away. Wait on a moment to say that I want you. You know that I want you.
Your sudden gaze and time, it started racing. But moments tend to fade and you're too far away from me to get my name in. Someone keeps blocking my way. I can't feel further away. Wait on a moment to say that I want you. You know that I want you.
Yeah, so as you can see, I got very overwhelmed at this point of time. I think it was just like too many books in my face, and I was just like tired and also possibly very hungry. So I decided to buy these many books, which is quite a bit still, but not as much as I normally do when I go to Blossom. So the first two books are of this collection that I actually want to start like collecting, but this is H.G. Wells's The Island of Dr. Moreau. I don't know. Please tell me how to say it. But yeah, I have never read this one, but I've heard really, really good things about it. I don't know what it's about, but I know it's like sci-fi-y, I think. Yes, I think so. I mean, H.G. Wells is sci-fi, right? So yeah, intrigued by that. And the next one is this one, which is The House of Ulloa, I would like to say. And I don't know, I am intrigued by both of them. This one is set in a crumbling Spanish mansion. This gloriously comic and gothic novel follows the fortune of a young, innocent priest as he enters the world of moral decadence, sexual intrigue, and corruption. So I was like, yes, on comic and gothic, like that combination just sounds amazing to me, and I got both of them for 150 rupees. So very excited by that, and also like great condition still, like if you can see. So yeah, so that's that. Then I again cheated and bought this book, which is Cinnamon Gardens by Shyam Selvadurai. Now, I've been meaning to read Funny Boy by Shyam Selvadurai for a while now, but I checked online and this book cannot be found anywhere. So I was like, I better grab it before someone else does, because this book sounded really intriguing. In a novel of exceptional achievement, Shyam Selvadurai evokes the life of the upper class of Colombo's wealthy suburb, Cinnamon Gardens, at a time where the power of colonial rule in the country is shifting. So yeah, so it follows like various different people and we get to hear their perspectives, and I just think that I want to read more of like Sri Lanka, because it's a lovely country but they're going through a lot, so I want to educate myself about stuff happening there in the past and present. So that's this book. Okay, the next book I bought because I actually want to read another book of the author. So this is Cosmopolis by Don DeLillo, and the book that I want to read is White Noise by the author. I just think that like it's a fascinating sort of book, but this one also sounded really cool. It's basically about it's about this guy who's a multi-billionaire who owns a 48-room apartment and a decommissioned nuclear bomber who has recently married the heiress of a vast European fortune. So basically, like, they're rich. And he is sitting in a limousine as it moves across Manhattan. He finds the city at a virtual standstill because the president is visiting, a rapper's funeral is proceeding through town, and a violent protest is being staged in Times Square by anti-globalist groups. Eric's bodyguards are worried that he is a target, and indeed he is, although the danger, as it turns out, is not from the protesters or political assassins, but from an anonymous man who lives in an abandoned building. And I was just like, yes, please sign me up right now. That sounds amazing. So I picked it up and I want to read this. Now that I've like spoken to you about it, now I feel like reading it even more. So the next one is another Meg Wolitzer that I decided to buy, and that is this beautiful book called The Wife. And I just also thought that this sounded really interesting. It says, Joe and Joan Castleman are en route to Helsinki. Joe is thinking about the prestigious literary prize he will receive there, while Joan is plotting how to leave him. For too long, she has played the role of supporting wife, turning a blind eye to his misdemeanors while quietly being the keystone of his success. But behind the compromises, the disappointment and disillusionment, there lies a secret. ... So yeah, again, it's a short one. I just think that it will be very interesting and I cannot wait to read. The next is an Indian translated book. So the cool part about Blossoms is that they have this whole Indian fiction section, which I think is like the most fascinating thing ever. So I bought this book, which is The Hour Past Midnight by Salma. I read her previous book, which was translated, she writes in Tamil, and then the book that I read was Women Dreaming, which was translated by Meena Kandasamy, and this one is translated by Lakshmi Holstrom, and this one is about basically a bunch of women, and I think they are interconnecting stories, or they might be just short stories about friendships that are made and broken, families come together and fall apart, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, changes creep in. Before they know it, the women's lives have changed forever. So yeah, I mean, there's a bunch more that's written on the back, but I don't really want to read it because I just want to read the book itself. So yeah, and then we have the last book for the day, and that is this one, which is The Pull of Stars by Emma Donoghue. Again, I have gone against my rule, but I bought it for 200 rupees. So I was like, screw it. This one essentially follows like this maternity ward where these women are giving birth, and I heard that it is very intense in terms of the birthing scenes, but it's like we basically follow these women and what they are going through while I think the Spanish flu or something is going on outside. And I've been wanting to read this book for a while now because I heard really good things about it, but I was unsure whether I wanted to read like a pandemic book, but now I think I'm okay to read it. So I'm excited. I bought it. I'm gonna read it. Hopefully, God knows when, we will see. So these were all the books that I bought while I was at the bookstore. If you have visited any of these bookstores, let me know which one was your favorite. If you haven't and you just want to tell me what your favorite was based on like what I filmed and what you saw, let me know. If there's a book that you want me to read for sure, 100% like and review for you, let me know that as well. And that's all from me today. Please give this a big thumbs up and like subscribe to me for amazing like bookish content. I don't know why I'm saying amazing. That's just tooting my own horn, but I have to do that. Anyway, I will see you in my next video. Bye!